It was one of those ordinary afternoons that ask nothing from you. Not much sun. Not much wind. Just enough quiet to make the day feel soft around the edges. I stopped at a small cafe to buy a coffee. Nothing fancy. Nothing dramatic. Just a warm cup, a small pause, and maybe 5 peaceful minutes before heading home. The cafe was calm inside. A few people sat by the window. Someone was typing on a laptop. Someone else was stirring tea without looking up. The whole place felt gentle, like everyone had agreed to be quiet together. Near the counter, there was a self-order machine. Bright screen. Clean design. Very modern. Very confident. The kind of machine that seems to assume you already know what to do. I stood in front of it and looked at the screen. Coffee. Tea. Pastries. Everything was clear enough. Not easy, exactly. But manageable. And on that day, manageable felt like a win. So I started tapping slowly. 1 coffee. No sugar. Regular size. 4 here. To go. I hesitated a little, then chose to go. The machine moved me along without emotion. At the end, the screen showed my total. I paid. It paused for a second, then displayed a cheerful message, "Thank you." And without thinking, without even 1 second of careful adult reflection, I smiled and said, "You too." Out loud. Clearly. To a machine. The words left my mouth so naturally that for half a second, I didn't even realize what had happened. It felt normal. Polite. Almost warm. And then it landed. The screen said nothing. Of course it said nothing. It had already thanked me. Its part was done. But there I was, standing in front of it like we had shared a meaningful little moment. I looked around. Not too fast. Not in panic. Just enough to see whether anyone had noticed my conversation with the machine. A man by the window was still looking at his laptop. A woman near the door was fixing her scarf. The world, thankfully, had continued. But then I heard a tiny sound beside me. Not a laugh exactly. More like someone trying very kindly not to laugh. I turned my head and saw the barista at the counter. She was smiling. Not in a mean way. Not the kind of smile that makes you feel small. Just a soft smile, the kind that says, "It's okay. I know what kind of day this is." I laughed first. A small laugh. The kind people use when they are caught being accidentally human. Then I said, "I think I just said you too to your machine." She nodded gently and said, "It happens." And maybe she says that to everyone. Maybe it was just the easiest thing to say. But in that moment, it sounded kind. And kindness, even a small one, can change the shape of embarrassment. So I laughed again, this time for real. Not because it was the funniest thing that had ever happened, but because it was so familiar in a deeper way. That strange little habit of wanting to respond correctly. Wanting to be polite. Wanting so much to get things right that your words simply run ahead without asking permission. When you are living inside a new language, sometimes your mouth is braver than your mind. It reaches for whatever feels safe, whatever feels ready, whatever sounds like the right shape of kindness. And every now and then, it offers that kindness to a machine. A few minutes later, my coffee was ready. The barista handed it to me with the same gentle smile. This time I said, "Thank you." And she said, "You too." Then we both laughed. I stepped back outside with my coffee in my hand and the cool air waiting for me. The moment was already passing. That was the nice thing about it. A small embarrassment can feel so big while you're standing in it. But once you keep walking, it becomes lighter. And by the time I reached the corner, it no longer felt like one of those moments I needed to hide from. It felt almost sweet. Like a tiny reminder that learning to live in another language is not always graceful. But it is still living. Still trying. Still moving forward. So yes, that day I smiled and said "you too" to a machine. And for a second, it felt ridiculous. But only for a second. Because maybe that is how we grow into a place, not by being perfect, but by collecting small awkward moments and realizing they do not break us. They just become part of the story.